Hello, this is Bud. Hello, this is Bud. Hello, this is Bud. I'm on. Hello?
Good morning. Jonathan George is up.
Hey, good morning. This is Bud. I'm up.
Glad to hear from you, bud. Hope everything's okay.
You can order these G.I. Joe dolls, and they actually put your own face on the doll. So that's me, SOCOM Stu. I've seen men and women, saving children and putting themselves in harm's way for this country. Yeah, isn't that amazing? Julie, get in here.
He wants to run with you.
Yeah. He does. I mean, if you join the military for money, you're an idiot. It has to be a calling. It's just too painful. It's too hard. My father, he would go up every summer to Fort Bragg for the ROTC training. So we'd spend, you know, all days with the Green Berets out there. And I knew from that day forward I was going to do it. We're in a helicopter flying north to David. I'm on the headset. You know, I had a great start as a lieutenant, and you're doing things that are real, things that matter. I think the first year I was in the 11th Cav, I was gone 300 days out of the year away from home. This is from when I was a major in 10th Special Forces. If you're in a real war, you need people that are professionals. I mean, because families' lives depend on it. I've been a member of AAFMAA since 1984. I had a great experience with them. One of my units had a significant event, lost a lot of people. You know, it was just in 1 second, you know, you had a mass casualty thing. And so it was pretty horrific. I mean, you know, we just weren't ready for this. I joined AAFMAA because I realized that if anything happened to me, I needed to have somebody or something help me out. So this is my wife, Kelly. Comes to financial decisions. You need to talk to her.
This was a personal chart giving you information about how you could allocate your assets. They gave me graphs, they gave me charts. It's very detailed. AAFMAA is a great resource.
Tampa Club? You gotta have somebody that knows, like, hey, you ought to think about this insurance, you ought to think about these types of investments. Because, you know, there's a balance. When you have a company that's there, that's available, and you don't take advantage of it, it's a mistake. We just have the ultimate trust in what they do. You have to work, man, for your own mental health. I mean, anybody that retires. Most of the ones I see, they're kind of unhappy people. Last night we did an event. I brought back all the boxes and stuff. We're an educational nonprofit that advocates for the employment and utilization and resourcing of special operations people.
He's incredibly busy, and a busy stew is a very good thing.
Welcome. I'm Jerry Quinn, Chief Operating Officer and Secretary of AAFMAA. The meeting will begin shortly. As we allow time for people to join, I'd like to familiarize you with key features of the GoToWebinar. During the meeting, we have votes of membership that will be conducted via online polling. You'll be presented the vote in the form of a poll question, as you see here on the left-hand side of your screen. Please click on your choice, and after the vote is over, the chairman will announce if the measure has passed or failed. We will record the votes through this feature and review the final counts, and will then officially record the results in the minutes after the meeting. Please refer now to the right side of your screen. If you have a question during the meeting, please submit it in the Q&A section of your screen. And if there's time, the president will address questions during the meeting. If we're unable to get to your question during the meeting, a member of the AAFMAA staff will respond to you shortly after the annual meeting. Now, please enjoy this brief video while we allow remaining attendees to join the webinar.
When choosing AAFMAA, it was no questions asked after doing some research and finding out that their values really aligned with our values in the military, with trust, honesty, integrity, that was hands down one, there with AAFMAA.
They were great. Very upbeat, very professional. They were completely happy to deal with you, transparent throughout the entire process. Highly recommended.
If we ever had to do this again, we would choose AAFMAA. They have our back.
Knowing from what we started with AAFMAA, knowing that they wanted to be there if something happened to Jim, to come help me through everything. They wanted copies of our wills and all the important paper that we would need for them to be able to take care of us in a tragedy. So it's very important.
And you may not always, as a military member, be available, have all the information at your fingertips, that there's a lot of things out there that are pulling at you. And so you want an organization that understands that is service-oriented along with being business-oriented, but put the service first. And that's what I'd want people to know about AAFMAA.
I researched a lot of other companies and found AAFMAA through the veteran community, but also because of their loyalty to veterans and their integrity to always be straightforward and letting you know what are you going to get from AAFMAA services.
AAFMAA welcomed me into their family, and that's one benefit you don't get from other companies. At the time, I was battling cancer, and AAFMAA was there with me every step of the way.
They treat you more like family than a client.
It was so friendly that it wasn't like a business transaction. It was more like dealing with family.
If you're in the military, you're active or a veteran, I recommend AAFMAA to everyone. AAFMAA, they really became my friend. It was a very personal experience for me.
Okay, sir.
Hello, everybody. My name is Denny Ryman, and I am the chairman of the board of the American Armed Forces Mutual Aid Association. Welcome to the 141st annual meeting of AAFMAA. This is the first AAFMAA annual meeting held entirely in an online format. With over 230 members registered for the webinar, this is one of the best attended annual meetings in AAFMAA history. In the next 45 minutes, we will both conduct the business of the association and inform you, our members, about the 2019 results and current operations of AAFMAA. First, please join me in recognizing members of our board of directors who are connected with us online. The AAFMAA Board of Directors focuses on strategy, succession planning, and policy. We spent much of 2019 working on AAFMAA's strategic plan 2020 to 2030. That plan will help guide us as we provide our members with the financial tools necessary to meet the challenges of the next decade and beyond. The board is fully committed to AAFMAA's success, and most importantly, to caring for you and your families. I am honored to work with such a tremendous group of individuals on our board, all of whom work on behalf of you, the members. As is our tradition, we recognize 3 special members attending online today. John Doron is our youngest member in attendance. Ernest Bisciotto is our longest tenured member in attendance with over 72 years of loyal membership. Thank you very much, Ernest, for your continued support of AAFMAA. Charles Grimm is 93 years young and is our oldest member in attendance. We're glad to have you with us too, Charles. Congratulations to all 3 of you. We are delighted to have you and everyone else tuned in for this meeting today. Last year's annual meeting was on 11 June 2019. The minutes were published and distributed to all members. If there is no objection, we will dispense with the reading of the minutes. Do I hear a motion followed by a second to waive the reading of the minutes and approve the minutes of the previous meeting?
Mr. Chairman, there's been a motion moved by Rear Admiral Hanby and seconded by Colonel Schatzer.
Having had a motion and second, all those in favor signify by voting aye in the poll before you, and opposed signify by voting nay. The ayes have it, and the motion carries. Last year, we celebrated AAFMAA's 140th anniversary of serving the American Armed Forces community. At that event, we reminded everyone that AAFMAA traces its birth to the Battle of Little Bighorn. If you were to go to the battlefield at Little Bighorn, you'd see a monument there that honors both sides. It is a fitting monument because it talks about valor and sacrifice. Both were there in abundance on that battlefield. But the most important monument to come out of Little Bighorn was the Army Mutual Aid. That living monument today is known as the American Armed Forces Mutual Aid Association. Today, that monument has expanded in both size, product, and most importantly, AAFMAA has made, quote, passing the hat, end quote, no longer necessary. What we have done is focus on taking care of our survivors, taking care of our military, and taking care of our members. AAFMAA now has over $25.1 billion of insurance in force. We provide life insurance to over 101,000 of you and your family members with nearly 122,000 policies in force. We currently serve more than 11,600 members in 2019. And in 2019, our exceptional Survivor Assistance Service team provided superlative personal service to the families of the 1,092 members who passed during that year. AAFMAA achieved greatest investment success in 2019, which Carlos Perez, AAFMAA's treasurer, will describe in his report. These investment results added to the strong financial foundation of the association. The financial strength allowed us to continue paying industry-leading crediting rates of 5% or greater on whole life policies in 2020. This directly benefits you, our members, because the crediting rate helps build the cash value of value-added whole life, annuity life, and wealth builder life insurance policies. We also help members plan their financial future through AAFMAA's Wealth Management and Trust LLC. This organization provides financial planning, investment management, and trust services while meeting a fiduciary standard. For us, that fiduciary standard is very simple. It means always putting members first. No commissions, no markups, no brokerage fees. AAFMAA Mortgage Services, LLC, continues to grow and attract new members to AAFMAA. They provide residential mortgage solutions and refinancing options. You can do no better than AAFMAA Mortgage Services when buying or refinancing your home. The mortgage team provides expertise in VA loans and great low rates. Last year, as many of you know, Walt Lincoln, our exceptional president and treasurer for the past 2 decades, announced that he planned to retire in early 2020. We have benefited greatly from Walt's loyal, dedicated service for almost 3 decades, including the last 20 years as AAFMAA's president and treasurer. He provided outstanding leadership and was a driving force as AAFMAA dramatically expanded its insurance coverage, membership eligibility, and service for all members. Walt retired on February 16, 2020, and we again thank him for his tremendous service to AAFMAA. The loss of Walt is offset by having Brigadier General retired Mike Beese available to succeed Walt as president. Mike has served in multiple positions and roles within AAFMAA over the past 6 years. He is a soldier at heart. He and his family have lived that life for over 3 decades. He has never forgotten nor will we ever forget that you, the members, are our most important asset. I now ask Mike to provide the President's report.
Thank you very much, General Reimer. It's an honor to provide the President's report to you, our AAFMAA members. As General Reimer said, I became president in February 2020 when the stock market was at a high, the economy was booming, and few people had heard of the coronavirus. Needless to say, it's been a challenging 3 months. This report is primarily about AAFMAA's results in 2019. As I will describe, AAFMAA did extremely well. Throughout 2019, AAFMAA was under the leadership of Walt Lincoln, our president and treasurer. I want to thank him for his leadership and his mentorship during the 6 years that I spent with AAFMAA. I refer you to Walt's final report to the members, which is included in the annual report, which I reference in my comments. I've organized my report using the slide that Walt developed in the AAFMAA 2020 plan that you see before you. It speaks to how we accomplish our mission to provide the financial independence and security of you, the American Armed Forces community. Because we work exclusively with those in the military, you'll know that the base of this financial independence is your VA benefits, Social Security, and military retirement. From there, AAFMAA has become the premier provider of the 3 pillars of financial independence for military communities. First, life insurance. Second, investment and wealth management. And finally, building home equity through mortgages. These 3 pillars work together to not just protect your family while you're in the military, but to provide affordable financial solutions for you throughout your lifetime. An important metric of our success that you'll hear throughout my report is our membership. You'll notice on this slide and several other slides that we include a variety of numbers. All of these slides are going to be available for download after this webinar so that you can access them in detail. At the end of 2019, we had just over 85,000 members, which is slightly down from previous years, and it's an issue that we are working to address. Although life insurance achieved its goal with 5,495 new policies issued, after subtracting the 1,645 policies that we paid death benefits for the AAFMAA members who died, there was a net loss of 743 members for the year. Our marketing efforts are concentrating on increasing the appeal to active duty members of all services through digital outreach and expanding our appeal to military veterans who may not have previously heard of AAFMAA. While the numbers are slightly down, the strength of AAFMAA is its loyal members, who consistently praise AAFMAA for our superlative personal service. We ask all of you listening to this annual meeting to pass the word about AAFMAA and encourage fellow military families to join AAFMAA and enjoy the benefits that you already know about. In 2019, in addition to meeting the goals for policies sold, AAFMAA Life Insurance expanded the policies that we provide for you, our members. Most of you have either have our value-added whole life policies or our level term policies that provide exceptional protection. Many of you have asked for ways to grow wealth or to provide a stream of income for life through AAFMAA's life insurance policies. AAFMAA's responded by developing Annuity Life, which is a life insurance policy with a high rate of return that you can annuitize immediately or at any time to provide a consistent stream of income for the rest of your life, no matter how long you live. We also have Wealth Builder Life Insurance. Again, another great life insurance policy, currently providing an industry-leading crediting rate of 5.25% with a net return of 4.5%. This return is tax deferred until you cash in the policy, and if you die, the entire life insurance proceed passes tax-free to your beneficiaries. After 10 years, you can also annuitize the Wealth Builder Life Insurance policy, just like the Annuity Life, to provide a lifetime stream of income. Finally, for veterans without life insurance, we created the Veteran Survivor Plan. This provides easily accessible insurance and all of the great benefits of AAFMAA Survivor Assistance Services. These are tremendous new insurance offerings all created or redesigned in 2019 and targeted to expand AAFMAA membership. The reason to buy AAFMAA life insurance is not the exceptional policies or the great rates or even the outstanding benefits. It's the people. Jerry Quinn on the left top of this slide joined AAFMAA in February and was our new Chief Operating Officer and Secretary. He's currently a Lieutenant Colonel in the Army Reserve and commands the 316th Quartermaster Battalion headquartered in Oklahoma. He brings to AAFMAA over 25 years of experience in financial services. His team pictured before you are unique to any life insurance provider. AAFMAA does not just sell life insurance. We make sure that your family has the right protection for the right reason at the right price. No one on the sales team gets any commissions. They have no incentive to provide you anything other than the best insurance for you. Our member benefits team ensures that your information is up to date. Your important documents are secured in our digital or physical vault, and they provide valuable advice on your critical military benefits that form the foundation of your financial independence. Our VA benefits coordinators helped members get over $616,000 in annual benefits and $380,000 in retroactive payments that they've earned through military service just last year. And finally, AAFMAA's Survivor Assistance Team helped the families of 1,092 members who died get all of the benefits they received. That included over $82 million in insurance payments, $1.9 million in annual VA payments that will continue every year, and nearly $200,000 in burial reimbursements. No other association takes care of the military like AAFMAA, and that's why AAFMAA life insurance is so special. The second pillar of your financial independence is investment, which is why we formed AAFMAA Wealth Management and Trust 8 years ago. Steve Manell has been with wealth management since it began after his Army career in Special Forces. In 2019, AWMT exceeded its targets in terms of number of relationships, accounts opened, and experienced an exceptional 54% increase in private assets under management. Beyond being a fiduciary that meets the highest standards of trust and is required by law to put your interests first, members choose AAFMAA Wealth Management and Trust because of the relationship managers who get to know each family extremely well. These talented professionals pictured before you combine their in-depth knowledge of investment management with the unique characteristics of military life. Most relationship managers have served in the military or are military spouses, so they get military life. Finally, a large source of our growth has been many USAA members. Last year, as you may know, USAA decided to stop providing wealth management services and shifted all of their remaining accounts over to Schwab. Now, Schwab is a nice big company, but it does not have the extensive military knowledge, or I would say, the unique service that AAFMAA Wealth Management and Trust has to really know and take care of military wealth management. These relationship managers, who are backed by a team of financial planners, investment advisors, and support staff, can help you manage your investments to provide your financial independence and security. At the beginning of last year, Jeff Havener became AAFMAA Mortgage Services' new president, bringing with him 30 years of financial industry experience in mortgages, consumer, and commercial lending. In 2019, AAFMAA became licensed in 8 additional states, and soon we will be able to provide mortgages in 29 states, as you can see from the map, covering most major military communities from coast to coast. As a result, we have more than doubled our loan volume, surpassing the $100 million mark and gaining approval to provide VA loans and place those loans on our books. The 337 military families who received mortgages from AAFMAA last year were looking for the lowest rates, fast closings, and efficient processes. Not only did they get that from AMS, but they also had tremendously positive experiences with AAFMAA's military mortgage advisors. These great men and women with decades of experience specializing in mortgages and a deep knowledge of the military provide mortgages military-made, uniquely designed for your circumstances to complete that critical pillar of financial independence, home ownership. Moreover, half of those getting mortgages from AMS are new members to AFMA, giving us the opportunity to expand AFMA's membership in the future. This is a quick review of 2019 and some of the people who provided great results for AFMA. When Walt Lincoln stepped down, Carlos Perez became AFMA's treasurer, bringing with him 26 years of service in the Army, his Stanford MBA, and 4 years of previous experience as AFMA's chief operating officer. He manages the financial affairs of our association, and I now call on Carlos to provide the treasurer's report.
Mr. President, Mr. Chairman, members of the association, good afternoon. I'm honored to serve as AFMA's new treasurer. According to the AFMA Constitution, at each annual meeting of the members, the treasurer shall submit a report of business and shall make such other reports as the board of directors or the president may direct. This is my report for 2019, which proudly marked AFMA's 140th year of providing life insurance and survivor assistance to military families. Instrumental in our ability to serve our membership is serving as good stewards of association resources so that we can meet our obligations many years into the future. On the slide presented here is a summary of assets as of 31 December 2019. AFMA invests for the long term and considers relative value in every investment decision. Relative value assesses risk, return, and liquidity among investment options. Additionally, AFMA maintains a well-diversified portfolio as depicted in the pie chart and table. AFMA's portfolio includes not only fixed income, common to most insurance companies, but also equity investments and investment in real estate property and mortgages. As of year-end, AFMA's assets totaled $1.3 billion, and the return on those assets, measured as net yield on assets, was 3.7%. Next, I'd like to review our crediting rates. Crediting rates are set by the board of directors and reflect economic conditions and the performance of AFMA's investments. They are essentially the rate applied to the cash value of members' whole life policies, enabling cash value of those policies to grow. This table here summarizes AFMA's current crediting rates. AFMA's return, the net yield on assets, coupled with today's economic environment, allow AFMA to provide industry-leading crediting rates ranging from 5% to 5.5% for its whole life products in 2020. These rates are remarkable given today's economic environment of repression and low, near zero interest rates. These apply to value-added whole life, wealth federal life insurance, and annuity life policies. Offering different crediting rates is a standard industry practice and better matches the time horizons of AFMA's obligations to the investments necessary to meet those obligations. All of this information and AFMA's financial highlights are available in the 2019 annual report, which is sent to every member and available online at afma.com. I encourage every member to check it out. As shown on this slide, revenue in 2019 was just over $114 million. AFMA's primary revenue sources are premiums and investment income, coming in at about $54 million each. AFMA's primary expense is death benefits paid out on policies. In 2019, after paying out over $82 million in death benefits and returning nearly $10 million of cash value back to its members, AFMA closed with a net income of $1,016,291, thus fulfilling its mission of ensuring the financial security and independence of the American Armed Forces community. Mr. President, Mr. Chairman, in conclusion, AFMA remains on sound footing that will enable it to continue meeting its founding purpose to aid the families of the deceased members in a prompt, simple, and substantial manner.
Thank you very much for that treasurer's report, Carlos. I'll ask that it be included in my president's report when we publish it for all of the members. But a few questions submitted, although time precludes us from answering all the questions, let me provide a quick answer to one of the more general questions, which was about our crediting rate. The crediting rate, as Carlos described, is between 5 and 5.5%, and how that's set depends upon the financial conditions and the returns of AAFMAA. It is set by the board of directors, specifically the finance committee, normally in the meeting in November. Frankly, given the very low interest rate environment that we're in, as well as the continued policy of financial repression by the Fed, I would not anticipate the crediting rate going up. And in fact, it may end up being lower, but we will take a look at that when we make recommendations and ultimately a decision by the finance committee in November. Again, if you've submitted questions, we will answer each of those questions within the next 48 hours and keep the questions open through the end of the annual meeting. We appreciate everybody's participation and dealing with this online format. I think that you can see that AAFMAA has grown from a life insurance company to truly providing solutions throughout every stage of your life. Whether it's insurance when you're joining the military and building a family, mortgages so that you can build equity in your dream home, member benefits and VA assistance as you transition from the service, wealth management so that your investments can match your financial goals, and then survivor assistance and trust services to effectively transfer wealth to future generations. As you look at this chart from the beginning of your service all the way through the next generation, AAFMAA has expanded from doing just life insurance to doing wealth management, mortgages, investment planning, trust services, survivor assistance services, all of which are focused on you, your financial independence, and your security. AAFMAA is the place that provides financial solutions for your future, for all of the members of the military community. That's why, in spite of the coronavirus, AAFMAA is an essential service that's part of the nation's critical infrastructure. And we've remained open throughout this pandemic. Although most employees were working from remote locations, and this was one of our recent employee meetings, I want you to know that they are immensely dedicated, working to take care of you, our members. In conclusion, one of the ways that we try to expand membership is through our Spouse Link Ambassador program. We have 12 Spouse Link Ambassadors throughout the nation at most major military posts. What motivates us at AAFMAA is not the financial returns or the mortgages sold or the policies issued. It's taking care of military families that comprise the greatest armed forces in the world. So that we continue to remain focused on those whom we serve, I wanted to conclude with a video from 29 Palms, California, that gives you one example that is typical of the great Americans that we work with every day.
Do you want to help me make your breakfast? Okay, let's go. Can you wash your hands, please? Why? Just, it's always a good idea to wash your hands, right, when you're gonna cook. People who are not in the military probably would think like 2 weeks is a long time to be separated from your spouse. When my husband leaves for a week or two, I'm like, eh. You know, it's not until he's gone for like a month or two that it's kind of a big deal. Here you go, sir. Breakfast is served. Are you gonna eat more, Connor, or can I put the pancakes away? There's a lot of pictures of my kiddos, Colin and Connor, and our wedding photo from 16 years ago. My husband and I met at a summer camp when we were both in our teens. This is my favorite picture. It was the day he came back from Afghanistan. And he had jokingly said a couple times, like, I think I want to join the military. And I was like, I didn't think he'd actually do it. Wanna go? He said, sometimes you just have to do things that you know are the right thing, even if it's like the hard thing. So then I was like, well, that's a really good answer. And I can't really like tell him, no, you can't follow your dream. Main road in 29 Palms. We moved here in August of 2009. I got out of my car and I just started crying. Grab your backpack. What's happening here? Why are we living in like the middle of nowhere? And I didn't know anyone or anything. And it was hard. I was so lonely. Up to that point, it was the hardest thing I'd ever done. We're off to base to go to a links class. I was still like new to 29 Palms and it can be pretty isolating. Went to a links class. That's kind of the biggest thing for us as military spouses is making connections and building community. And that's what we're all about at SpouseLink. The whole premise behind SpouseLink is to encourage spouses. My job is just to come and hang out with you guys. So kind of the point is that they want to have spouses be able to meet spouses and inspire spouses. And that's why we host things, because we want to encourage women to get out of their shells, to get out of their homes. I think it's important, especially with younger spouses, as an older spouse, kind of guide them and maybe help someone to not be stuck in their house for a year like I was. Like I do these events and people come up and like, oh, you're the SpouseLink girl. And like they know me and I love that. Thank you. The company behind SpouseLink is AAFMAA. AAFMAA is the longest standing not-for-profit financial institution in the whole country. It's just like a special place. For one thing, they have a ton of veterans that work for them. These people just like are passionate about military. They just like love what they do. And one thing that I love about AAFMAA is that they don't only serve current military, they also serve retirees and veterans. So somebody who served like 4 or 5 years and then gets out, what are they eligible for? For most companies, nothing. But through AAFMAA, they still qualify for all the benefits of anyone who served any time in the military. Yeah, I love AAFMAA. I never imagined that this would be what I would be doing, but it's been amazing.
Mr. Chairman, this concludes the President's report, which requires a motion to be accepted.
Thank you, Mike. Well done. Do I hear a motion to, and followed by a second, to accept the President's report?
Mr. Chairman, the motion has been moved by Command Chief Master Sergeant Monroe and seconded by Command Sergeant Major Horvath.
Having had a motion and second, all those in favor signify by voting aye in the polls before you. Any opposed signify by voting nay. The motion carries. The next order of business is to receive the report from the Secretary and Chief Operating Officer. As the President mentioned, we were fortunate to have Jerry Quinn join us recently, and he too brings with him tremendous dedication that comes from continuing to live the life of a soldier in the Army Reserve. That life includes at least 3 different deployments in the Middle East. This is Jerry's first annual meeting, but it certainly won't be his last. He will report on the election of directors and present the results of the nominating committee and proxy balloting. Jerry?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm very proud to have joined the AAFMAA team a few months ago and to do my part in advancing our mission to provide trusted protection in a simple and significant way to our military and veteran families who have earned their right of membership. Each year, the board directs the convening of a nominating committee to represent the membership in nominating board members for election and re-election. This year, your nominating committee was Lieutenant Colonel John Scudder, committee chair, and Brigadier General Michael Phillips and Colonel Mark Troutman as committee members. Gentlemen, we thank you for serving your association this way and your time and commitment in getting this work done. The committee nominated, in alphabetical order, Lieutenant General John Dubia for his second term, Brigadier General David Reese for his first term, and Colonel Bud Schatzer for his third term. Proxies were received, duly counted, and certified by an independent proxy service. All nominees were elected by the membership, and their terms will continue until the annual meeting in 2024. Mr. Chairman, this report requires a motion to close the nominations and ratify the election by the members.
Thanks, Jerry. Well done. Do I hear a motion followed by a second to close the nominations and ratify the election by the members?
Mr. Chairman, the motion has been moved by Colonel Porter and seconded by Colonel Strines.
Having had a motion and second, all those in favor signify by voting aye in the poll before you. Any opposed signify by voting nay. The motion carries and the new nominees are now elected. Please join me in congratulating these directors on their election. Just a reminder, directors serve without compensation and represent you, the members. It is great that we have the directors from the Army, Air Force, Navy, and now with the addition of Brigadier General Retired David Reich, United States Marine Corps. All DoD services are represented on our board. As chairman, I thank each of them for their dedication to our association. Is there any other business to come before the meeting? Hearing and seeing none, I hereby declare the 141st annual meeting of AAFMAA adjourned. As we conclude the meeting, we want to show you a short video that AAFMAA employees did in honor of Military Spouses Day. I think you will find it is a fitting way to recognize our employees and their dedication to all of you as members. Thank you all very much for your attendance and enjoy the video.
Active duty military spouse.
I am a military spouse,
Army spouse, an Army veteran, and a military spouse for 18 years.
For about 2 years.
Almost 16 years.
What I love most about AAFMAA is the mission behind the brand.
It's not just another life insurance company.
They make military families a priority.
I have the opportunity to reach out to other military spouses,
to make connections online or face-to-face.
I've been able to assist new families coming to the area,
providing them with the resources given by AAFMAA
to share my experience and knowledge about military benefits,
helping those who have sacrificed so much for this country.
AAFMAA gives me the resources and reach to be able to help as many of those families as possible.
The impact that I've made on my community has been great.
Being a part of AAFMAA is very rewarding.
AAFMAA truly values their employees.
They were the first company that I found that fully invested in me as a military spouse.
They recognize the talents and leadership that veterans and military spouses bring to the workplace.
They've invested in my continued education. They supported me through PCS.
When my active duty husband received military orders, AAFMAA continued to support me.
I appreciate you allowing me to give back to my military community.
I couldn't ask for a better job and a better company to work for.
Thank you, AAFMAA.
Thank you, AAFMAA.
Thank you, AAFMAA.